Hey guys, what is up? It is Seth here today with KuanCeptionFILMS, and I'm going to be telling you about tower diving and how to avoid it. Now, I just put some random gameplay in the background. I'm not going to be commentating on it as I'm doing this video, but it's just there for you to watch. Me playing semi-really topped and getting completely wrecked by this Renekton as he's pushed up on me a lot of the time. Alright folks, let's talk about the basics of tower diving. If you don't know what it is, it's pretty much when your enemy or yourself goes under the tower and takes the tower aggro to get a kill. Now this usually occurs when someone gets some huge balls or is pretty intensely fed from you or your feeding jungler. In low elos, it usually doesn't turn out very well, but most of the time it's for a 1-for-1 trade with the enemy. But I'm sure in high-low elos it's probably still a 1-for-1 trade, because it's usually a bad thing to do. And let's first go over how to tell you're probably going to get tower dived. You're low health and the enemy laner is full health. Their jungler is placed behind you and the laner is pushing onto your tower. Now that's a pretty simple, not very complex situation there. It's pretty easy to spot. The enemy is especially tanky and or can provide a lot of damage in a short amount of time if the enemy is Tryndamere. You can prevent yourself from being tower dived by backing, trading equally in trades in lane, and not feeding the enemy. It's pretty obvious. Keeping your lane froze in between turrets, which means the minions aren't under their turret and taking aggro from it, and the minions aren't taking aggro from your turret either. It's just sort of in the middle. No one's got the advantage. The last reason is keeping to your turret if you are pushed on, not being at the end of the range, and this one applies only if you meet any of the criteria of a person that's probably going to get dubbed, which was mentioned earlier. Let's talk about how you can act when you are being dove. When someone dives you, they're basically 2v1ing against a champion that cannot be killed, which is the turret, and a champion that can. Now if you're playing a tanky champion with CC, you will want to tank as much damage from them as you can, letting the tower do most of the work, which should be about 3 or 4 shots, so roughly 600 or 700 damage. Most tower diving goes on post 6, but before anyone really has the tankiness to tank that many shots and get out alive, unless they're hyper fed. After they tank a few shots, use all of your CC abilities you can on them, while spacing them out to make it last longer, thus increasing the time of the turret aggro. This all depends on the champion you're playing. For example, if you're Riven, you're not one to mess with under tower, because you have knockups, you have stuns, you got the shield, you got the whole 9 yards there. However, if you're say Tryndamere or Yi, you're pretty screwed as you have almost no CC, although you do have your ult as Tryndamere and your Fear, I believe it is, and Yi does have his Q Alpha Strike, which makes him invulnerable for a short amount of time. Now let's move on to if you're not a tanky top laner, which is kinda bad to begin with because the top lane meta right now is pretty tanky. You'll want to dodge all the skill shots they have, using minions and such to do so. If you're against a melee, try to always be on the other side of the turret. Champions can't walk through turrets, so be forced to try to walk to you, in which you'll simply walk to the other side of the turret, all the while he's taking aggro. If you remember to try to hit him while evading their auto attacks or abilities, you'll get the kill and possibly not die. However, most people are smart about tower diving. They know they can get a kill and don't care if they die getting said kill. This is where they make a large mistake. They are getting themselves a kill, but are also giving you a kill. And since you are probably behind enough to give them motivation to dive you, you will suddenly be a lot less behind with that one single kill. Now, if you are being dove multiple times, but just can't seem to not die every single time, you can always ask your jungler for a gank, as they will be pushed constantly attempting to dive you, and that puts them in a perfect position for a gank. Most junglers have enough CC combined with your CC and damage that the enemy will die when they try to turret dive you. Getting tower dives sucks most of the time and lowers your morale, but never forget that there's always a time and place for coming back, whether that be in lane or in a team fight, but that place might just be right under your tower. If you're a mid and can roam top and bot to get fed and carry late in the game while still helping your teammates and your team as a whole, that would be a good thing. But if you're top, you're just gonna have to muscle it out up there, because if you leave the enemy top lane, will just push all the way to your freaking nexus and get all the free farm that you left for them to get that juicy 30-minute full build, and that's never any fun. Let's review on some points we covered. Know how to identify someone's intentions on diving you. You need to know how to prevent diving. You need to act correctly in the situation in which you're being dove. You need to never lose morale just because you're getting humiliated under the turret dying. And just don't feed your laner, or you just screw yourself over. That's usually the case, and then people don't know when to back. And then they flame at their teammates or the jungler for not ganking them when they didn't tell them to gank or something like that. Now, that's about it for this guide. This is my first time doing something like this, so please like and comment with feedback on how I can improve, or if you just don't want me to make ever videos like this again. Subscribe if you like this video and wish to see more stuff like this, because we can't do any of this if we don't get your support. This has been Seth with KuanCeptionFILMS, and I am out.